Hey Ryan, welcome. I know that we've been trying to schedule this thing for like, oh my gosh, how long? Um, but I'm finally excited to be able to have you on formally. I know you've been on Lag Live so many different times, but we haven't really had a full chat just to figure out,
Yeah.
pick apart your brain. But I know right now you've been working on your podcast. You've been putting out consistent episodes. How hard has it been to produce your podcast? Like, do you work alone? What's your process like?
So first I took a lot of inspiration from a lot of different well not a lot, but a few different podcasters. A lot of them that I like. There is Savage Lovecast with Dan Savage. Similar to him and Anna Faris Unqualified. I want to add like a question section or do like a full episode of, just everyone sending their questions and answering them all, or, asking anything kind of. Because one, it's I'm always the friend that everyone goes to for relationship advice, but yet I never take it myself. So that's why I'm going to say take it with a shot of penicillin and a grain of salt. Um, and then there is Why Won't You Date Me with uh, Nicole Byer. Yeah, Nicole Byer.
Hmm.
Um, I kind of got like the idea to kind of tell my more ratchet and more raunchy side.
Hmm.
I feel like everyone likes to hear the trashiness just to like keep things light. And I'm also a follower of the Young Turks and the New York Times is the Daily.
Hmm.
I love all of your political posts and civil rights activist stuff. Um, Quite in fact, I think that's one of my fallacies in the sense that like I feel like for some people I can post a bit much about that stuff to where it's kind of preaching to the choir.
Hmm.
But yeah, when I first started, the biggest thing was just starting itself. Like any creative person will tell you, that's like the biggest hurdle because you always make up excuses about what you need or what's stopping you.
Hmm.
For me, it was, I've watched a lot of YouTubers and whatnot, and so when you see the quality of videos that these people are putting out, it's intimidating.
Yeah.
It's like these people have like the full circle lights, the back, the green screen and whatnot,
Hmm.
and it's like, how can I compete with that?
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, like, there are just so many. I think we've really entered into the era of podcasting and YouTube talk shows, and there are so many of them that have just full scale production teams who are working on audio and lighting and makeup and
Literally,
writing. And it's funny because it's like you listen to a podcast, like you can find one and it's like by NPR or whatever, and it's like, okay, this is like you hear it and it's like, maybe a crime drama or whatever, and it's like, okay, I like the story. I feel like this is something that I could do. And then at the end they start reading off a list of all the people who were involved, like that's how they do it every week. And you're just like, when
and
you do it yourself, it's just, it can be overwhelming.
yes. Well, it's for me, it's overwhelming and difficult because it's not that I can't find topics or that I can't find people to talk to.
Hmm.
It's what we went through. It's finding the right time to like be able to sit down for for at least 1 hour. And
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people I've had flake out on me literally 5 minutes before I'm supposed to record, and so I'm just like, shit. But luckily, the one of the good things about this is that I've realized like how many interesting people I actually do know and how diverse my friend group is.
Hmm.
And so one day I just made a list of like all the people I usually talk to, people I haven't for a while, and then think of at least 2 to 3 things that they're in or they represent or take pride in or that they do well. And then I started to realize, oh damn, wow, these people are actually pretty cool. Like I'm actually really lucky to know them. Um, and then yeah, just that just gets the creative juices going. But the biggest push for me actually was reading Elaine Welteroth's More Than Enough.
Oh, she was
Uh,
the former editor-in-chief of Teen Vogue, right?
yeah, and I met her at her book signing and book talk in Dallas this last June, or I know July, and it's crazy. Like when you were in there, like you could just feel the love. Like that's like the biggest thing I can the easiest way I can say it is just there's an understanding when like you build like that coalition of just so many different walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
And the main takeaway from the book I got was that, like she says, you are more than enough. You are your biggest enemy. Just do it. No matter what you do your first time, it's going to be horrible. Nobody's going to listen. But once you do, every time you do it, it's practice for you.
Yep.
And that was like the biggest kick in the ass I needed. And I did have a creative slump about mid-September to December. So that was my quote unquote season finale. And so we are back with a season 2.
Yeah, it's I think that's the hardest thing to learn when it comes to running and producing podcasts. It's you go into it having all these expectations, like, okay, this is going to be a great podcast. I have this great guest, and we have all these topics lined up, and then it's just this gradual shaving of expectations. Yep. It's like we can't get that time slot, or like, oh, this question didn't hit, or like, and it really is practice. Like there are just an endless number of like technical difficulties and things, just random things that always pop up, and you have to learn to develop just the thick skin to just expect that none of this shit is going to turn out how it actually is in your head. And so you have to just like go into it with a very practitioner's mindset of like, you know what, I have no idea how this episode's going to turn out, but I'm just going to do it, and I'm just going to keep doing it, and eventually I'm going to get better.